Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to, what is it, Micro Monday? Micro Monday. I feel like my brain's gonna melt out of my ears. I've had a crazy couple of weeks. Oh, did that go from one file to the next? Or is that the same flight file? Whatever. That was some freestyle that Matty Bluntz and I did at, oh, it did go to the second file. Look at that. At Tiny Whoop Open in Denver, Colorado, which was a total blast. I just got home 2-ish hours ago, which was just enough time to, like, get all my stuff out, set up the basement with the gates and whatnot, pull some footage that I'm going to play here on the live stream. Not all the footage, but most of it. And put a bunch of shit in, like, the little on-deck area over here that we can kind of talk about. First and foremost, this is the HDLRC Petrol 2-inch frame that I couldn't find, that I said I'm not going to buy another one, because as soon as I buy another one, I'll find this one, because I knew that this one existed. I found it when I was packing, actually. So there's that. I'm going to put it over there now, where I can lose it again. So yeah, Jesse flew me out to the Tiny Whoop Open this year, which was super cool of him, and put me up in the Whoop house. And yeah, it was a great time. The Tiny Whoop racing world, I mean, the FPV racing world, good lord, they are stacked with good pilots. And, like, just super organized. Like, the timing systems and the people that run them and, like, the people that organize the events, it's wild, man. Jesse and the gang did an unbelievable job. 2 tracks, one gigantic one in a pickleball stadium? What would a place where pickleball courts be? Courts! No. I don't know. It's a big building that had a whole bunch of pickleball courts in there. Which was interesting, because it was like, like half of it was pickleballers, and then half of it was FPV people. And so you'd kind of look over at the pickleballers and be like, finally, someone nerdier than me. And I'm sure they're looking over like, we play pickleball. We're cool, man. Look at these idiots. So that was the huge course. That course was, I think it was over a minute. It was crazy. I was hoping to fly it. I was hoping to freestyle that. And my plan was to do it on Sunday. Little did I know that course got torn down Saturday night / Sunday morning. So I didn't get to fly that course. So I have no footage, no evidence that it exists. if you search around, I'm sure you can find some of the Racing Pilots DVR. It was crazy. There were these two ridiculously long tunnels. It was wild. I really do wish that I got to fly it. The other course was in this really cool little like side area space that you're going to see in a little bit here. Connected to one of these like really cool sort of new style warehouses that they convert into like eatery slash dance club slash whatever gentrification space basically. And so the location was awesome, and there was like great food connected to it, and yeah, it was cool. You'll see it in a little bit. I'm gonna start playing flight footage pretty soon here, but I want to show a couple of things off and just yeah, cover a couple of bases. The video that I just played was the 75 millimeter motor to motor, 1.6 inch propellered, 1102 18,000 kV motored, 2S 04 build, which I broke the camera on. I slammed it into a metal pole, and then it hit the ground, I think, on more metal really hard. And yeah, the camera's dead. Even though I ran that nice big bead of V6000 around the top part. I don't know why the camera died. I haven't pulled this apart yet, and we're not going to pull it apart tonight. Wednesday we will. But yeah, I've killed an 04. They are not indestructible. This rig I've flown pretty hard. This one's taken some hits. Not that many though. The amount of abuse that this 04 Lite VTX and camera have taken is probably about on par with some of the walk snail lights that let go. Maybe a little bit more in this case, but and I mean, in fairness, I have two other 04 lights that the one in the 2-inch rig has taken a lot more abuse. The other one in the little RC drift car chase rig, which I got some really fun footage of from, that one doesn't really take big slams. So I don't know. It kind of maybe feels like the 04 Lite is more durable than walk snail Lite, but it's not. It's still fragile. I can't say like, yeah, it would be unfair to say that. And we've heard about a bunch of 04 lights failing on people already. So I don't know. My guess is that when you have an HD video setup that only weighs 8 or 7 grams and can output 720 or 1080 and do all the crazy stuff that the 04 Lite and the walk snail Lite do, maybe it's not going to deal well smacking it into brick and concrete at 30 miles an hour. How could that possibly be? We ask an awful... Camera systems are traditionally incredibly fragile. They're pretty sensitive equipment. And from early days of FPV, I've always been absolutely blown away by the ridiculous amount of abuse that the camera systems, HD and analog and everything in between, that we've been able to come up with that can take the amount of abuse that we dish out, basically. So I have a really hard time, like, yeah, even the walk snail lights. I mean, there was one of the walk snail lights that really didn't last very long at all. One of the ones I plugged in voltage to back, or I gave it too much voltage. The other two lasted a little while, so maybe this is just the deal. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna dig into this one. Apparently, if you send these back to DJI, they fix them and send them back to you. So I'll let you know how that goes, because you can't buy replacement cameras yet. And I don't even know if I would do that, because the MIPIs are all glued down, and I feel like we should leave them glued down, right? So yeah, we'll see what the DJI repair process timeline, all that jazz looks like. That'll be cool. I have a little bit more flight. So since we're talking about this rig, I'll play some more flight footage from it. Maddie and I went out. We had a blast. We just went like around the area that the two tracks were in different buildings, but they were one block away from one another, so you could so easily walk between them. And this was in the Arts District, the Rhino Arts District. So there was like beautiful graffiti everywhere. It was super cool. Here's the end of, I think in the intro it flipped from the first battery that I flew on this to the second one. I'm just gonna hit play on that and let that play the rest of the way. This like pretty low crane was another like half a block away, and it was super fun. We told a bunch of the racers that they need to go fly it. Hopefully they did. But yeah, here comes some more 2S 1.6 inch. Let me get you a weight on this rig. 1102 motor, 1610 gem fan propellered whoop drone. Turn on scale. What's your deal? You couldn't possibly need new batteries already. You're a couple months old. Really? It weighs grams. Cool. What's next? So I also flew the 1S 65mm RC Drift Car Chasing Rig a bunch, which we'll play. And last night we even went to a local RC Drift track with a couple of really cool guys there. That were like thrilled to have us, and I got to introduce chasing RC drift cars to like a half a dozen people, which was just like one of the coolest parts of the trip, to be really honest, because it's just so, and every single person that did it was like, oh yo, this is so fun. So yeah, if you're not gonna take my word for it, take all of their words for it. It's the best, and you can pretty easily find a group of guys that do this around you. I guarantee you, RC drifting is way more popular than FPV. So do it. What's next here? Oh yeah, flying up in the street. 1.6 inch propellered tiny whoop that's like 52 grams maybe. There's no rules. Just do whatever you want. Just fly it in the street. It just doesn't matter. What am I gonna fall down on the top of a car and they'll go, what was that, an acorn? Huh, and just drive away? What am I gonna bump into somebody and they're gonna go, oh, that's funny. This piece of plastic hit me. No rules. It's the best. It's the most freeing thing ever. The wind did become a problem. I believe it has. Right now, the wind has started to kind of kick up, which is why I couldn't stick to this building. I'm going to spend some time over the next couple of months figuring out the safest, quietest, best performing 04 carrying, non-ducted kind of setup. Maybe 2 inch, maybe 2.5. As little prop in view as possible, hopefully none. For this kind of stuff when it gets windy. Because, yeah, it's really tough. Like, it got really windy later in the day, and you'll see, it's just, there's just not, like, we've got these tiny whoops really dialed in terms of, like, response time and power to weight ratio, but, like, a ducted rig is an aerodynamic disaster, and there's just no way that you're going to be able to put enough power into or dial in a ducted rig enough that it's not going to get moved all around when it gets windy. Even if it's not like bobbling around, it's going to get pushed really hard, and then like you're not going to be able to, you can't fly straight. You end up doing this weird crab fly, and that looks weird. And so yeah, I'm gonna figure this out. I want to have like a little. I want to have like, I already have the 65mm 1S no prop in view rig. That thing is, this thing is so cool, so good, right? And then I've got, I still kind of have to decide these guys, the 1.6 inch or the 2 inch. I got to figure out which one I'm sticking with, because the other one is going to get its guts taken out and put into a non-prop guarded kind of setup. And so I want to have that like little three rig setup, right? 1S 65, fly it next to somebody's face and they don't even know it's there. And then a ducted outdoor thing like this. for the days where there's not a lot of wind. One of the things I really like about this rig is it floats down so nice and slow. Like when I get, I almost lost on that person's balcony. This one, I almost did it again, but I didn't flinch this time. Look how nicely it floats down. Like it gives you time on the way down, and it's cool. And like I really dig that nice slow float down. But as soon as there's a bunch of wind, it's out the window. And so then the third rig in this little quiver that I have in mind is 2-inch, 2.5-inch, no prop guards, 15, 20 miles an hour wind, no problem. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. Those are 3 rigs that like you can kind of cover all bases with, and they're small, and it's you can easily fit it in a bag. It's kind of like a travel setup, right? Like a as minimalist as possible travel setup that like you can fly literally anywhere. Nobody's gonna ever care. Nobody's gonna get upset. They're not loud enough for you to ever have to worry about it. And you can go do this fun stuff with it and still get like really good flight performance, right? And like really, really decent quality flight footage, 4K 60 frames a second or 1080 120 frames. 04 Lite is, this is insane. Like this would be a little three build setup that you can get footage this good anywhere. And I don't know, I'm so impressed by 04 Lite. I can't get over how good it is. They did a streamer battle where everybody flies line of sight. You're going to see it in a little bit here. I'm actually going to blast past all these because I did a terrible job flying this, and it's not exposed properly. So they had a couple of flow arts dancers, and I was trying not to orbit them. And that's really hard to do when the subject is stationary. And so I was trying all these different ways to not orbit them, and I just did an awful job of it. But this is the second race. I guess this is considered the first racetrack, but this is the smaller racetrack area. You'll see more of it in a minute. But yeah, I'm gonna blast past these because I'm mortified by how bad of a job I did at flying that particular thing. And then, so here's where I killed the damn thing. So right next door to the place was this cool little metal thing with lots of holes in it. So we buzzed over there and flew this a little bit, which was kind of fun. So I'll leave this on. So now the wind has started to get absolutely out of control. Just nuts. And so, yeah, this rig started struggling. The 2-inch rig would have been a little bit better, but it would have still gotten pushed really hard by the wind. It wouldn't have been like as kind of wobbly and bobbly, but it would have gotten pushed sideways and backwards and directions that I don't necessarily want it to go, just as bad because it's a prop guarded rig. It's a little tiny Cinewhoop. But this was ultra fun. I've been flying the 2-inch rig a lot, and I haven't flown. See, look at that crab, yo! Like the wind is just killer. I've been flying the 2-inch rig a lot, and I hadn't flown this in a little bit. This thing flies great, man. Yes, the 2-inch build is heavier and it has a little bit more power. So yeah, there it was. That is the last frame that this camera will ever record, I think. And I mean, it hit, so that's one of those supports, and so the supports have like metal under them. So I'm pretty sure it just came right down on the metal. And like, I don't know, I was kind of high up, and there's a chance that I might have like been on the throttle. It wasn't not a hard hit. I didn't think it was the hardest hit in the world, but with tiny whoops, it's hard to tell because they don't really make much noise when they hit stuff. But yeah, that's what killed it. So now we are on to so this is the streamer fight, right? So you're trying to be the last tiny whoop up in the air with more than like 6 inches of streamer, so you're trying to cut each other's streamers. And it's line of sight. Look how many quads there are in the air with VTXs just blasting all over the place. '04 didn't care. There was not a missed frame. It just stomped all over all of them. This was really, really impressive. Yeah, it was as if there weren't 20 VTXs in the air within inches of me. This was very fun to, again, I'm trying to fly this without doing orbits, which is tough. I'm also flying this in a way that it's going to get edited. Like, this is not me flying for like someone to watch this whole thing. This is me flying to in a way that you can get like a little 2-second hit that looks really, really cool. Because, you know, that's what FPV is. FPV is primarily B-roll. So start flying like it. If you want to do something with your footage, right? Or like, and so yeah, like the plan was to send this footage over to Jesse so that it gets into the edit and stuff. And so there was no real reason. I brought my walk snail stuff. I was really hoping to get plugged into the computer that was running OBS so that I could fly some like live coverage in between heats and whatnot. But they didn't have. There was like a last minute change in the people running the live stream and doing all the things, all the behind the scenes things, and they didn't have an extra HDMI port, so we didn't do that. But if I had done that, I would be flying differently. Like if you're flying for like constant coverage, you don't fly like this, right? And so, you know, if you're gonna start making edits, kind of keep that in mind, right? Like you want to fly for the edit. You don't want to fly for fun. I mean, it's still going to be fun, right? But you don't want to, like, there's a way that you fly when you just go out and you're just having fun. You know what I mean? And so play around. Again, if you're going to start making edits, you want to start playing with a little bit of a different kind of style of flying so that it makes it easier for you when you're editing. Yeah, there you go. Food for thought. That's the main live stream camera. This is round 2 of the streamer battle. But I mean, it's kind of more of the same. More line of sight, streamers getting cut. It was super cool. It was super fun. Really, really neat to see it too. What else? I think this is just me cruising around. Yeah, this is just me kind of cruising around. Oh yeah, right. This is the award ceremony. So trying to get some. I don't know what was. There must have been like a fan. I don't remember there being a fan, but something weird's going on. It keeps getting all wibbly and wobbly over here. So there must have been a fan. Like, see, and I'm flying kind of weird. So there was something going on here. I don't remember quite what it was, but there's a couple shots in here that I'm sure can be used. So this was kind of cool. Yeah, like you can see it there. Like, look, I'm getting pushed. I'm getting pushed out towards him. Look. What's happening? Why? Why am I getting? It's weird. I don't see a fan there. It's strange. A little bit more of that. Here you go. All right. So last night, one of the guys at Tiny Whoop Open was like, "Yo, there's an RC Drift track with a couple of cool guys that are there running. If you want to go after," this was on like Saturday, we were talking about it, and I was like, you know, everything runs so late on Saturday, you think they'll be there on Sunday too? He's like, yeah, for sure. So it was perfect. Sunday, everything ended at like 4:30 or so. So we had plenty of time to get over here. And yeah, these guys were super cool. They loved having us. They were just super cool with us. And they're really good. But I'm such a nerd. The coolest thing for me about this whole deal is this track surface that they're running on. So this is a very specific track surface. These are tiles. And I think he said that they're compressed asphalt. And I think he also said that you have to get them from Japan. So they're kind of expensive, these tiles. But they're more... Jesse was stuck. I was trying to get him out. They're more grippy than polished concrete, but they're not as grippy as carpet. Hey, baby. and I haven't even seen Maggie yet. Uh, and so they carry a little bit more momentum, and it's amazing. Like I'm gonna tell my local group about these tiles. They probably already know about them, but man, the speed the speed that they carry on this surface is perfect. The on carpet, they're going a little bit too fast, and it's really hard to get slowed down for the more technical sections of the layout. Um, and then on the when the straights open up, you got to really put the nose down and look. You end up losing the car off the top of the frame to put the nose down far enough to keep up with them. Polished concrete, it's the opposite. It's a little bit too slow, and like you're flat all the time. It's totally doable, but like you're always really flat. You never get a chance to really kind of put the nose down. This is right in between. It was really, really cool. I had to adjust to it a little bit because I've now gotten used to the polished concrete. But after I got adjusted to this, well, here, I'll play more of it. I was having a ball. I am really annoyed though. The last 2 batteries that I flew were, of course, like awesome. Like I'd really kind of gotten used to the difference in speed, and just, you know, I was kind of a little bit more in the zone. And the goddamn the internal storage on the on 04 filled up, and I lost like 3 or 4 batteries worth of flying. I did pull them off the goggles though. One of the really cool things about 04 is that if it's recording on the quad, it's also recording on the goggles. It's not as high quality in the goggles. You know, you get 1080 30, it might be 60. It's only 1080 though, and it's not like 120 or 100, which is what I had the onboard set to. But this right here, this is 1080 one. Oh, you bastard, you. I hit the wrong button. It's all gone awry. It's all gone bad. Hold on, this is where we were, right? This is 1080, 120 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 files. So plenty of footage to do a little edit for those guys, which will be awesome. And yeah, so if I go 50% speed all the way down to 0.25, and now this is still 30 frames a second, so you don't get that frame jumpiness. So yeah, this is 1080, 120 frames a second. This is, I think I prefer 1080, 120 to 4K 60 for chasing these guys. It's just so much fun to slow it all the way down to 25%. So yeah, this was a blast. This was really, really, really fun. And I love that I got to, that a couple more people now have done this and know how cool it is, and will hopefully do it more and put more edits up, because yeah, this is just the best. Computer's struggling a little bit to play this. If it looks jumpy, it's the computer. It's not the flight footage. But yeah, this is really, really, really cool. Really nice layout too. Really flowy, kind of open layout, which I was having a good time with. Big spot too. Let me get caught up on the chat. Good God. I'm sorry, friends. Disabled Combat Android was first. Andrew Taylor, Doubles FPV, Benny Bravo, Reagan GTX, Fizz PV, Terry Burnett, Craig, Frank Nicholas, Denzel the Terrible, Ron Murray, Chaser FPV, Doubles, Frank Nicholas, Craig, Morton Upshot, Doubles, Kelvin. Who else is here? Morton Upshot, 7-0. Brandon's Baked Beans, Cats, Morton Upshot. I think I already said your name. Frank Nicholas, Denzel the Terrible, Scotty Scott, Ohm FPV, Shoujo, Metal Dirtskin, Cats. All right, I'm going to stop just reading. In the chat, if you want to talk directly to me, just type CiottiFPV. Although my voice is on its way out, so I might end the stream a little bit early. So if you want a better answer to your question, save it till Wednesday because my brain is on its last molecule of intelligence. I'm just so tired. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. Actually, no, I'm not gonna. I forgot I have therapy tomorrow, but I think I don't think I have therapy till like 3 o'clock. So I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna lay on this couch and I'm not gonna move until like 20 minutes before I need to be at therapy, and then I'm gonna drive 1,000 miles an hour to get there because it's more than 20 minutes. I need a day of rest or I'm going to melt into the carpet, and then you guys are gonna have to vacuum me out of the carpet and find someone that can take a pool of a human being and convert it into a sentient being. Craig says, was CiottiFPV on live streams at Tiny Whoop? I missed most of the stream. I was on Saturday. I was on there pretty early in the stream. Jesse waved me over, and I spent, I don't know, maybe like 20 minutes on there trying my best to make people laugh. I don't know anything about racing, so like as soon as they start racing, I'm just useless. And so, yeah, that was it. I was just on it for a little bit during the Saturday stream, the qualifying stream, and then that was it. I was there talking to people, shaking babies, kissing hands, as you do. It was a good time. It was a really good time. The racing community is they're competitive, man. They are a competitive community. I'm so not used to that from freestyle. I mean, like, it's not that we're not competitive in freestyle, but it's kind of like a joke in a weird way. Man, this computer is really struggling. What's with the dropping? What's with the stuttering? Oh, shitballs. Why is it stuttering so bad? Hold on. Could it just not handle the frame? Yeah, what is that? What is it doing that for? I think it'll be fine once I get it into Premiere. Weird. I don't know why it's doing that. So I got there on Friday. Took a bus to the venue and helped out a little bit, and then hitched a ride back to the Whoop house, this giant house that they rented, and then people could people could like call a bedroom and pay for their share or whatever. This house had, I think the house had 7 bedrooms. Some of the bedrooms had like bunk beds in them too. Like, it was crazy. I swear to God, this house was just built as an Airbnb for big parties of people to kind of hang out in. It was nuts. Hold on. I'm gonna get this out of this software and I'm just gonna play it like this, and maybe it'll be a little bit smoother. Hopefully. And so, yeah, we did a bunch of flying. I'll probably play that next. Bunch of analog flying around the Whoop house. Everybody was kind of flying. They had like sort of a racetrack set up with tiny Whoop gates, which was cool. And then I was just kind of freestyling around. The house was just like a big rectangle, and so there wasn't much flow to it, and so I was having a little bit of a hard time. I was crashing a lot and not really just flying all that well, getting a little bit frustrated. But yeah, I got a couple cool. There was a cool little stairwell with like a dive, and I got a couple nice little power loop Matty combo things, which are kind of neat. So I'll have at least a little bit of that to kind of clip out. I'm gonna do like a Tiny Whoop Open edit with just like I usually do. No voiceovers, no nonsense, just like flight footage synced up with music, CiottiFPV style. And so yeah, some of this is gonna make it in there. Some of the Whoop, a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything's gonna make it in there. And I will challenge myself to do a little bit of storytelling with the way that I sequence the clips and whatnot, and what I cut out and what I don't. So, yeah. Friday night was fun. Saturday is when they were doing the qualifiers. So got over there, hung out at both tracks, just kind of bounced back and forth. Just yeah, hanging. Did a little bit of announcing or whatever you want to call it on the live stream Saturday. Got some really good food at that place. Again, I got a sushi burrito. Hold on. Ah, perfect. End of the battery. Sushi burrito, yo. Look at this. Hold on. I wanted to do this before the stream, but I forgot. No, I don't want your categories. And I also don't want my email. I want photos. There we go. Where you at, sushi burrito? Look at this fucking thing. That is a sushi burrito. Look at this. It doesn't... you got to judge the sense of scale by this thing. This is one of those ketchup cups. It's the size of a burrito, but it's a giant sushi roll. It was amazing. The place that makes it is this, just like a little sushi place in this cool gentrified space. Yeah, I ate there twice. It was great. What else? What else? Hold on. I'll take you through some of the stills super quick. Flu? Me? Train? Hey, here's the big course. Here's the big course. This is when I first got there. So yeah, huge. Huge. It just keeps going all the way out there. Massive, 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 massive. Sushi burrito. Oh, this is the other course. Go back. This was considered track 1, and then that big one was considered track 2. Yeah, look, they put me up on the wall. Right. What else? What's this? Oh yeah, they do a a champagne tower every year. five bottles of champagne only did like half the thing. It was crazy, but it was plenty for everybody. That was super cool. Yeah, there it is. That's a better. Hey, yeah, get some of that LED flicker in there. You gotta have that. What else? The fanciest looking whoop maybe ever. It has a top hat and a mustache and a mushroom LED on the back. Amazing. Inverted Cockroach 75 frame. The beauty. Trophies, we already kind of saw that. Here's the big track again. This is the final version of the big track. They actually made a couple of little changes. Those are the really long tunnels there. Andrea and I. I had Maggie send me that picture. They've got these gates hanging from the catwalk upstairs, which is really, really cool. I really like this setup. Oh yeah, here you go. Look at this. Look at this behind the scenes setup. So that's the computer setup running OBS, and then this whole setup here on the right is the timing, scoring, and RF Explorer there. Just wild to see analog video has come this far. What else? Crazy sunset behind the mountains the one night. Really, really pretty. I don't know if I've ever seen a sunset behind mountains like that. More of that spot. Maddie flying. This alleyway right behind with these train tracks, they have it all lit up, and all the way down on the left there is gorgeous graffiti. I feel like they did this on purpose. That was really fun. Super Whoop House MVP right here. Shallot. I don't know if it's Shallot or Shallot. Really, really, really cool dude. I got to hang out with him for a while. This motherfucker right here. stayed up until 4 a.m. making cinnamon rolls from scratch for everybody in the Whoop house, and then he brought a whole bunch of them to the race for everybody to chow down on. Awesome. So cool. I left this is one of my 2 favorite long sleeve shirts, and I left it on the concrete by accident after Maddie and I were flying, and I forgot all about it. And then I came back the next day, and there it was. There's my ticket. You don't need to see that. Look at this. Look at that, yo. That's tall. That's big. That's a container. That's like a container. A cargo ship container ship, tractor trailer container. Nuts. Maddie flying, me flying, my bag with the cool. Oh, that's right. I don't think I showed you guys. I got it done right before the trip. Where is it? Yeah. I still think HD0 goggles are ugly, but if they're gonna be ugly, they should at least look like an old school NES. Come on now. I'm so much happier with these goggles now that they have that they don't look so silly. So this is a vinyl decal from 533. It's $20. I didn't trust myself to put it on, so I just went to a local tint shop, and they charged me $20 to put it on, and they did it perfect. He used a little bit of heat on the corners here to get it to stick properly, and he got it lined up perfectly. It really comes close to a lot of the circles, and a lot, like, it's really close around here. He did it perfect, and like, $20 is kind of insane to have somebody do this, but $20 to never have to look at the mistakes that I made getting this thing on crooked is well worth it. Like, that is $20 of mental health right there. So, go talk shit somewhere else. No, it's yeah, those guys are magic. Those guys that work with vinyl are absolute magic, and this is so awesome. I just giggle every single time I grab them now, rather than being like, ugh, God, why are they so boxy? Now I'm kind of happy that they're so boxy, because it works perfect for that sticker. So yeah, that's that. I think that's really about it. Yeah, that. Yep, that's the end of it. So here was the last round. And then yeah, me and Maddie, we hung out a ton, which was awesome, because like, we've only ever talked online. We've never been at the same event before. Well, I guess we were both at Castle Crash, but he was busy. But yeah, I had a fucking blast hanging out with Maddie. Jesse, of course, being awesome. And then this was the us jamming at the RC Drifts Car place Sunday night. And then I went to sleep and woke up and got on an airplane and went 2 hours into the future. And here I am. Let me get back to one last file of chasing the little RC drift cars around. What else? Well, let me get caught up on chat a little bit. Craig says, with the spring weather in Philly, been enjoying the analog Mobula 7 2S outside. Oh, right, yeah. I flew, speaking of, I flew the, well, when the 04 2S 75mm build blew up, I flew this guy a little bit, which I have analog footage of. This is the analog 2S 75mm builds, and it was on the crazy windy day, and even this thing, with the ridiculous flight characteristics of having 2S but then being analog and lightweight, even this was getting its ass kicked. It was just ridiculous. But I got a couple cool dives in, and I had a ton of fun with this. Hey, would you guys buy if I had it on my Etsy store, would you guys buy one of these cases made by CustomFPV with the the Micro King Home of the Whooper logo on top, and then set up for one 2S 75mm rig and one 1S 65mm rig? Would you guys buy that? Would you guys buy that for like, I don't know, 30 bucks or something? I don't know what it would cost. I've just started to talk to CustomFPV about it. But is that something that you guys would buy, right? 65, 75, big enough for 2S or 1S or 2S, right? If this thing is sized for 2S, which is just a bigger battery tray, the 1S will also drop in there, right? So 65, 75, and then I think they would need to be offset like this, so then you would have these cool little pockets here to put some batteries or tools or something like that in. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Because, yeah, I can probably have Custom make me some, like the ones that he makes for tinywhoop.com, but with, Gangly Gang influences. And like kind of specifically set up for like our little crowd here, right? Who has realized that you got to have one 65mm 1S rig, you got to have a 75mm 2S rig, and with that kind of combo, you can do fun things and nobody will get angry. Stickers from people: Footloose FPV, Myopic. I got to meet Myopic finally, although I think I might have met him before, but he's such a cool dude. Glitch FPV. We've got Brazen. More Brazen. I'm doing this wrong. Dio GTS. More Brazen. Skyvet. I'm trying to read these backwards. More Brazen. Brazen. Fresh Bread. And Crazy Do. And I swear to God, I'm missing a couple stickers. I'll find them eventually. I've unpacked like in a huge rush. Shallot has made a bunch of hand marker colored awesome stickers, which are super cool. And then Maddie hooked me up with one of it. We traded sticker packs. I brought a bunch of mine and we traded. But he's much smarter than me, and he has them in fancy little packaging that you can buy for $10, and I'm totally stealing that idea. Shit. Yeah, his designs are always so goddamn cool. He's the one that did my logo that's like at an angle, like the Ciotti and then FPV at an angle. That red and black sticker that I got, he did that. Holographic. That's so cool. God, that's so cool. The Maddie Alien. Oh God, an angry Maddie Alien. Ooh. Rainbow Poop. I think this glows in the dark. Sure does. Outhouse. I gotta get the story behind that one. I had such a good time hanging out with Maddie, man. He is such a cool cat. I really at Castle Crash when he was doing the when he was spray painting the awesome artwork in the front. I went and said hi to him, but he was super busy, and I was like, I gotta make sure I hang out with him. And then I don't know what happened. I mean, it's not that we didn't hang out, but like I didn't get to spend like a solid chunk of time with him. And I'm so glad that I finally did. He's just a great guy that makes really cool stuff. Super talented, super smart. Just, yeah, awesome human being. And that's all the drift footage. That's all the drift footage that I got from the onboard. In the goggles, I have another couple that aren't going to look as good. But I don't know. I'll look through these and I might grab something out of them. But I was getting all locked in on flying backwards, and I was getting all carried away flying backwards, and it was super fucking fun. Every once in a while, somebody would be like, "Are you flying backwards right now, dude?" I'm like, Yeah, I have been for a little bit. Like, how the hell? It's zero camera angle life, man. Batwing mount, zero camera angle, and then just go do it. Yeah, get you some. Oh my god, so much fun. So yeah, I'll use those in the edit. Where am I at here? Did I get through all this? I think I got through all this. So now we just have some analog stuff. So this is Whoop House. Oh god, there's gonna be audio all over these, isn't there? So this is gonna be Whoop House. Let me go down a little bit where there's a chance that I was flying somewhat decent. It's also it's hard to be around these racing pilots because they're just like 7,000 times better than anybody that flies freestyle. It's really ridiculous. It is such a different flying style, though. I will say that. Like, similar to, like, the thrashy freestyle flying style, right? Like, yes, these guys are very smooth, but they will never not make a correction when they don't need to make a correction. Like, whereas, for me, I'm the complete opposite of that. Like, if there's absolutely any chance that that I'm not going to hit, I will not make a correction and just let it stay on the same line, because if I make a correction, that kind of ruins the shot. It doesn't kind of ruin the shot. It does ruin the shot. And so, yeah, those are very different. But yeah, they're just. I was the worst pilot in the entire city of Denver. Denver's not a city. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, I was the worst pilot in the entire city of Denver. It was ridiculous. These guys are on a whole other level. It's insane. Super impressive. So right there, I'm so dumb. I specifically meant to show that. So you might have heard me saying, what's the elevation? So Denver is the mile-high city. That's like 6,000 and something feet, I guess. The air is thinner, significantly thinner. I had to move my throttle expo midpoint from, I think it was at 32. I had to move it all the way up to 38 because I had to use more RPM to push more of the thinner air. I noticed that 2 years ago when National Cycling League flew me up there to do live broadcast stuff for the race. And all of my live broadcast stuff was getting shit runtime, and it felt terrible. And I realized same kind of thing. Adjusted. I just use a little bit of throttle expo on those. So it wasn't. That wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was just realizing it and not being like, "Yo, both of my rigs are broken. I I got to be careful." But it killed my runtime. Usually I could get like 3. I could chase them 3 times. I was only able to chase them 2 times, sometimes only once. Sometimes when the men would come out of the last corner and they would be just blasting, I would come back after one pass and swap to a battery. Yeah, thin air, a couple of 1,000 feet up is it's real. It's a real thing. So I got that figured out, and then I was admittedly flying a little bit better. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't, I just, for whatever reason, I couldn't find a good sort of flow in here. But, you know, if there's a cube, I can usually pull off a couple fun things. But, yeah, so this is Whoop House. Downstairs is kind of the same. It's just a big rectangle, whole bunch of rooms. Here you go. Here's it. Ah, yeah, look. There we go. All right, hold on. Maybe I'm not flying like a complete buffoon for a couple seconds here. There we go. See? I'm a half-decent pilot. Sometimes immediately crashes. This is the 36,000 kV Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop. So we're talking newbie drone, Cockroach V3 frame, Firefly motors, 0702, Tiny Whoop, 36,000 kV motors, HQ 1.2 by 1.2 by 2 biblades, 300 mAh BT 2.0 batteries, of course, 2G4 AIO, old school Mobula 6 ball sack canopy, Runcam Nano 3. Yeah, that's this build. I broke 2 of the flying at Whoop House here this night. I broke 2 of the HQ 1.2 by 1.2 by 2 bi-blades halfway down the blade. Like halfway down the blade, it just blew off. I was like, what? It happened twice in a row. It was so weird. I've never had that happen before. But, you know, we talk about that all the time. The HQ ultralight props are ultralight for sure, but they're also ultra fragile. This is freestyling at the main track number 1. I think I'm flying the same rig. This might be an Air 65. This was a dad who brought his son out, and they were super cool. I talked to them a whole bunch. I forgot their names. I think the dad's name was maybe Jason. But yeah, they were super cool. This was pretty fun to fly, to be honest. A little busy down low, but having these gates hanging up here was super fun. There were a couple ceiling fans that I was trying not to get hit by, but they were going kind of slow. Dan from iGow was shooting up into the fans and then diving straight back down through the blades. I didn't think to do that. It was super cool. Yeah, trying to knock out, like, go through this bottom gate and then power loop up through either 1 or 2 of those top gates and then drop back down and power loop the bottom one. This was fun because a bunch of people were watching line of sight. Ooh, oh. So we were having a good time here. Eventually I get it. I kept like I would be so surprised that it would go through the gate up on top that I would like forget to then go back through the gate on the bottom. I have a bad tendency to do that when I'm flying freestyle. Like if something cool happens, everything stops and I just like, oh yeah, there's a double. There we go. So there's a pretty clean one. But yeah, it's a super bad habit to have. Yeah, you actually want to do the opposite. If you do something super cool, you want to stay as calm as possible and do as many more super cool things as you can, to string together a good chunk of video. But you know, freestyle is supposed to be fun, so doing things to make it that make it fun for you is totally fine. You do you, my friends. Yeah, just flown around a little bit. Cool spot. I think that's where one of these I blew the end off one of those. Yep. That's me at 0 throttle. What else do we have here? So this is probably more, yeah, a little bit more freestyle, but kind of learning the space, getting warmed up. It was pretty narrow. It was really nice how tall it was, but it was kind of narrow, but very, very fun. And there was a little dive over here that the racers were doing in the corner on the left there. You'll see it. It looked big, and then as always with dives, when you actually go to do it, you're like, yo, this is cramped, bro. And the racers were doing it like without going 0 throttle. Just so impressive. A whole different thing, man. They're on a totally different level. But it's a different way of practicing, you know? Like it's so valuable to have timing, to be, you know, like with one of the cool things with when I was in motorsport is like I could make a change to the car, and then like regardless of whether or not I thought it was faster, when you trip the fucking clock, it's either faster or it isn't. And if it isn't faster, you put it back, and right, and so like just having this is hysterical. As soon as I go outside, somebody plugs in on me, and I'm like, yo, I might be in the street outside. Unplug. Luckily, I wasn't. But it was just like, somebody actually was running out to go grab it. I was like, don't. I've already had too many rigs get run over by cars. Yeah, having some sort of timing, it does help you progress faster. One of the hard things with freestyle is like, you know, how do you know if you're getting better or not? You just like blindly go and fly a bunch. So I think to some extent, racers can maybe like get better faster, I guess, but like they're still just on a whole other level. Like it's really insane. One more there, maybe. What's yeah, one more. We won't go through this one though. Let's keep going. Oh yeah, so now flying around outside, flying that same spot outside that I broke the 04 rig, but with the analog 2S 1.6-inch prop, 75mm build. I keep forgetting about chat. Sorry, friends. Kelvin says, watch some of the Whoop event live stream. Kept an eye out for the Gangulus of pilots. Why didn't you get any screen time? Yeah, Saturday early, which is the qualifying live stream, is when I was on there. You know, the Sunday live stream was like a lot more serious, and I don't know anything about the way that Tiny Whoops race, and so I just kind of stayed out of the way, and Jesse had people on there that understand racing. You know, for like qualifying on Saturday, it's just qualifying. There's not like they're not actually racing together, right? Like they're trying to gap each other a little bit so they can put a quick qualifying time in. And so yeah, check early on the qualifying stream if you want to see me being a goddamn goofball. Craig says, Frank Douglas just finished watching. Boy, that was very heartwarming. I'm so glad we did that. Happy birthday. Yeah, Craig missed the last live stream where I opened up the box with the extremely generous gift from him and Frank Nicholas for my birthday. Thank you guys again. Morton Upshot says, a cult of pickleballers, but I bet they would love a flyby in the footage. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We should have not been so judgy towards them, and we should have actually talked to them and not just stayed across the other side of the room hissing at them and flicking our front teeth at them and just generally like just giving them the fucking stink eye. It's this. We were giving them this. Everybody was just sitting on the other side of the. There's a lot of that. There was none of that. We just didn't go over there. I don't want anything to do with it. Oh, wait! The whole point was to play the fucking flight footage. Morton Upshot says, I don't know, acorns will get you killed if it happens to the wrong LEO. Look it up. Acorns? No. Not, surely not acorns. Morton also says, I need to work on that twitch and roll move. That looks great to snap 50% of your roll, then slow roll the rest of the move. Yeah, that is admittedly like it's becoming a little bit of an old school kind of thing. And it was, for me at least, it was born out of sort of necessity. Like, if I want to roll inverted, or if you want to do any amount of roll that's like significant, if you snap the first part of it and then slow down the rest of it, you can slowly level the horizon. Versus if you want the whole thing to be fast, you got to do it a couple thousand times to get the exact right timing so that when you come around, you're going to snap flat on the horizon. And I actually don't like the look of the other thing is that I don't like the look of that because it's just it's just like a quarter of a second of mayhem and chaos, and then you're back where you started. It's like, why'd you even do it? It's just keep flying. It's all good. You don't have to you don't have to take the whole screen and spin it around for no reason, right? By doing it like this, you actually give your viewer a chance to like catch up with what you're doing and see what the hell's going on, right? Whereas if you just do a full snap roll, the world goes mad and then the world comes back and like it as if nothing has changed, right? So yeah, that's kind of where that comes out of it. You get as much of the rotation done as quickly as you can, and then you do as much of it as slowly as you can. And yeah, normal people will be able to watch that and not vomit on your shoes or on their own. On their own. Man, I am shot. CMYKFPV in the house. He says, yo, what's up, gang the gang? Ron Murray says, did they ever get the quad out of the building support column? They did. They figured out where it was, so there was like a big metal I-beam, and then they put drywall around it. Well, they left just this tiny little bit opened, and of course, a tiny bounce takes a perfectly wrong bounce and then falls in this. This thing is like 12 feet tall, and it falls all the way to the bottom. They were able to figure out where it was in relation to the pole, and then they took one of those extendable poles and put either a hook or tape on it, and then spent some time fishing it down, and they were actually able to get it out Sunday morning. So that happened during qualifying, and they just left it in there. He just armed it and, gave it a bunch of throttle so that the battery would go dead, so the VTX would shut off, and then they just kept going. And yeah, Saturday night or Sunday morning, they got it out. I couldn't believe they got it out. I was like, yeah, that thing's in there forever. Somebody's finding that in 20 years, and they're going to be super confused. Morton Upshot says, to get your data off the 04 VTX, do you need VBAT? Point JD, I think. What does point JD, I think, mean? No, you don't. This is one of my favorite things about the 04 is that you don't need to power it up like the walk snail setup to get the goddamn footage off of it. I know that seems like a pretty bitchy thing. That probably seems like I'm being a total drama queen, but buy walk snail, deal with, and buy 04 and deal with it. And I guarantee you'll be like, yeah, he was right. He was right. This is obnoxious. This is absolutely obnoxious. This is when the wind was completely insane. This is the 2S 75mm 1.6-inch prop build. Analog build. And this is the one with the 802s. This is the really lightweight one that I absolutely love in the front yard. This is a bit much for it. It's so goddamn wobbly. Like the wind is just blowing it all over the place. There's also a bunch of jello, which I don't really understand. I think that's because of the wind too. But this was fun to fly, but this footage is pretty worthless. But, analog is about flying. It's not about getting footage out of it. Can you get footage out of it? Of course. But it's more about just having fun and flying. It's all about the sort of flight characteristics. In my opinion, the only way to do like a proper flight edit with analog like this is to do like what I did with the drift edits, where you get an old school camcorder that shoots in 640 by 480, which is what these cameras shoot in, and you shoot a bunch of footage with an old school camcorder, and then you cut that into this, and that way, if you just do an edit with this, people are gonna be like, yo, what is this Mickey Mouse bullshit? Like, why does it look so bad? Why is it breaking up all over the place? Like, it doesn't make sense to people, and like FPV pilots, some FPV pilots will watch an analog flight footage edit, some won't. But like normies will just be like, this is insane. Are you stoned? And then you can say yes, but what do you think about my flight edit? And they'll be like, it sucks. What is wrong with you? And then you'll say like, well, 10 years ago, my friend sent me one of these things, and then I flew it, and it was really cool, and then I bought one, and that person's gone by then. They've just walked away, and they will tell their friends that they met the weirdest person in their entire life today, and they'll laugh, and they'll have a great time, and there you'll be, just devastated. What were we talking about? CustomFPV says, what 2S 75mm motors would you recommend the most? It completely depends on what the all-up weight is going to be of the build. If you're going to do a digital build that's going to have to carry around a 7 or 8 gram VTX camera combo, you're going to want something like an 1102 or at least a 1002. 18,000-ish kV, and then you're going to motor limit it down a little bit. If you want to do something like this, an analog build that's a lot lighter, The 802 19,000s are great. Somewhere in between, like a heavy 75 millimeter rig, you can do a 1002 18,000 kV, and that's about the sweet spot. So it depends. Yeah, it depends on the all-up weight. If you were gonna like my tiny lifters, they carry around a 26 gram HD camera. Those are still on 1102s, but they don't fly like this. They fly like legitimate Cinewhoops. They're not freestyle rigs at all. Look at all this jello, man. What the hell? But look at the wind. Like it was pretty extreme. Oh god, what else? Yeah, we flew that really cool. I don't want to call it graffiti. It's artwork. Mural is the word that I was groping for. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I don't usually when it's this windy, like I just kind of won't fly. It was interesting flying with this level of wind. You had to really like find directions that you could travel that would work with the wind. Like it, you know, we usually deal with like areas that we can't fly, like behind that concrete building over there. But this, and so like there was still that, but then it was also like there was just directions that I couldn't point the damn thing in because the crosswind would make it insane. By the way, that was Down Low FPV a second ago. They came out Sunday and were hanging, and we had a blast. Me, Maddie, and they were blasting around, having a good old time. I was trying to get I got in the butt crack pretty good on that one. I thought that might have been the ultra butt crack dive, but I think I missed. I think one of those dives I was deep in that crack. I really wanted to do these ladder dives, but like, A, I'm not good enough to do ladder dives at all. B, with the wind, it would have been completely impossible. But there were like 18 ladders there. Yeah, see, like that. Like normally, I would have had enough momentum to get off the edge of the roof, but the wind was blowing me in the face, and I almost wrecked it. This was kind of interesting too. We didn't even realize this little alleyway was here, but the wind was just jamming through it, so I just kind of bailed. I think I might have gone in there one more time here. Yeah, look. Like I was doing everything I could just not to crash the fucking thing flying regularly. It was nutty. Oh, this is the no. I think you guys already saw the ultra butt crack dive. This little area in Denver is ripe for FPV, man. There's like nobody around and there's all this cool shit. It's pretty slick. If you ever go to Denver, go to this little area. So if you go to Denver, you search for Zeppelin. That's the name of that eatery or whatever the hell it is on the corner. So yeah, if you search maps for Zeppelin in Denver, it'll take you right there. And this is like one block around the corner from that. Rhino Arts District. I guess you could also look for that. Rhino, like rhinoceros, Arts District. Whee! This was ultra mega insane. Almost like stop flying wind here. Not a whole lot of super interesting stuff here. Oh, so this is the racers. This is TDog during qualifying. He ended up running, I want to say like 3 seconds faster than this. This is also the racetrack. This is the actual. Oh, so that's the end of the racetrack. I should have DVR'd one of his other runs. So yeah, this is what a good FPV pilot looks like. Actually, this is what one of the best FPV pilots on Earth looks like, and almost unarguably the best tiny whoop pilot on Earth. I'm sure somebody that really knows the racing scene could maybe make the argument that there's someone else sometimes that is maybe better, but uh, I think realistically there is just nobody that can touch TDog in terms of tiny whoop. Which makes sense. Apparently, not many days go by that he doesn't fly more than like 100 batteries, I'm told. And there's supposedly been days that he's flown over 300 batteries. And so, yeah, that amount of effort and work is gonna pay off, and you're gonna be absolutely incredible. And that's like wild to see. Uh, and so, yeah, I just outrageous. Like I was actually wearing the goggles, and like I almost it's just like there's just numbers trickling down from the top of the screen. Like I can't even, my brain can't even fathom what's going on. It's really outrageous. So yeah, that was nuts to see. Footloose says, "What's poppin'? What's up, brother?" Got to hang out with Footloose for a little bit as well. Got to hang out with a lot of people. It was a really good time. I met a lot of people that I just didn't know, because the racing community is very. I didn't realize. I don't think it's that I didn't realize it. It's just I never thought about it. I never thought about how separate the racing community really is. I expected there to be more bleed over between the two, but that doesn't make any sense. The 5-inch world is no different. Like, there are 5-inch racing pilots, and then there are 5-inch freestyle pilots, and there's like maybe 1 or 2 racing pilots that'll come over to the freestyle world, and there's maybe like 1 or 2 freestyle pilots that'll go over there. But boy, is there a fucking chasm in between the freestyle and cinematic pilots and the racers. But I mean, it doesn't surprise me, because it like, sure, we're all flying the same stuff, but other than the gear, everything is different. The way that we train, yeah, I mean, it's just very different, right? Like filmmaking versus racing. You like, if you had a bunch of artists and then you had a bunch of race car drivers, there's a pretty big divide between those two. Like, if the artists painted with Formula One cars, I don't know how that would work. That'd be interesting, though. Okay, yeah, hey, that's a cool F1 car. Sure is. All right, see you later. Right? Like, it's wild. It like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd never really wrapped my head around that. I've never been to I went to a Tiny Whoop race that Jesse put on like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe longer, in Tennessee. But that was at a bar, and it was just like a big crazy party, and like it was different. This was like a super official like kind of thing with like lots and lots and lots of people at it. Hey, shirt of the day. It's a Tiny Whoop Open shirt. No, well, now I can't see anything, but hopefully you got to see the bottom of it. Kat says that drift track was lit. I'm going to go back there for sure. Are you? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, link up with those guys. They are fucking cool guys, too. You'll have a blast with those guys. We had a great time. We had just as much fun like hanging out and shooting the shit with those guys as we did flying. It was really, really cool. Shout out to them, by the way. Certified Drift RC is the name of that business / track / group of really cool guys. If you want to look them up on Instagram, it's certified_drift RC. And then, yeah, a bunch of the guys, they're connected to that. It's an awesome group of dudes. Metal Ertzen says, flew an 04 quad in a race over the weekend. It did great in race mode. I flew like garbage, but it wasn't the 04's fault. Brian Kirk says, what 75mm whoop was your recommended? I love my Hummingbird V4, and I want something for outdoor whooping. I have analog / HD0, or I have an 04 air unit. So there's not just like a blanket recommendation that I can make. Different propeller sizes will give you different amounts of power. different amounts of efficiency. They'll be able to handle more or less wind, right? And so there's just not an answer to that question. The bigger the quad, the better of a time it's going to have. Not necessarily the bigger, but like the heavier. The heavier the build, the better of a job it's going to do in the wind. But when you have guards around the tips of the propellers or ducts, it's never going to do great in the wind. And so, like, if you live somewhere that's got 20-mile-an-hour of wind every single day, you probably don't want a tiny whoop for flying outside. You're going to want like more of a toothpick style, or like school bus style, regular open prop kind of setup. For really tight, like if you have a smaller yard, or if you have like a lot of bushes or obstacles out there that you can kind of duck in and out of, the 2S 75mm motor to motor 1.6-inch prop build is probably going to be best suited. This same thing, but in a 2-inch frame, is going to do better in the wind. Or if you have a more open kind of area, it's going to be heavier. It's going to carry more speed. It's going to have a little bit more runtime options because of bigger batteries that it can carry. So yeah, the world of custom building is, if you're going to custom build, don't just close your eyes and point at a prop size, point at a motor size, point at an all up weight, and then just see what happens. Like, think it through. CiottiFPV.com is where you can support me, friends. Patreon is what helps me the most, but I also have a Fiverr page on there. And on Fiverr, you can work one-on-one with me. One of the things that I do, I have 3 different like gigs on there, but you're just buying my time. So it's whatever you want to do, that's fine. But the 3 things that I know I can help you out with a ton are flight instruction, help you fly better, fly smoother, fly more cinematic, for example. Tuning, we tune your rigs, and I teach you how to continue the tuning process. And what I call build planning. Build planning is exactly this. It's a conversation about where you're going to fly it, what you're going to do with the flight footage, how much wind, who your favorite pilots are. I have a big list of questions that I ask you. The answers to all those questions are the only way that I can recommend 1.6-inch props versus 2-inch props, or maybe the other way around, tiny whoop versus open prop, stuff like that, right? It's a half an hour long conversation, but what's nice is A, you support me so I can keep doing this and keep telling you what not to buy, which saves you money. But B, you end up with something that works really well in the scenario that you're in. I've been flying for 10 years. In the early days, nobody was doing that. And so we would just have to close our eyes and point at shit and build it and fly it and try to get over the placebo and or whatever the other thing is called when you spend a bunch of money and your brain is like, that better be good. You spent a bunch of money on it, you jerk. And then you'd build something different and see how that compares, and then build something different and it's really expensive to do it that way. You can almost certainly save yourself a whole bunch of money by letting me help you out with that. It's over on CiottiFPV.com. Click the Fiverr button, or just message me and we'll schedule it. And this is not me talking to you, Brian Kirk. This is me doing my shill that I need to do every live stream so that I can eat and make sure the kids don't starve to death. There's also a Etsy store on there, which has lots of fun stuff. And there's a whole bunch of affiliate links. Change your bookmarks to someone's affiliate links. Every time you do an order on the internet, use an affiliate link. Support the people that make the stuff that you can watch for free. Cool? And we'll keep making the stuff for you to watch for free. Moss1 says, wait until you try something. Hold on. Oh, no, I guess we got through all the flight footage. Wait until you try thy Superman sushi burrito with soy paper. Where's that from? Frank Nicholas says, you were on the wall in 2 places, top right and bottom left. Yeah, every once in a while. I think only once I peeked. I think that's what you're talking about, right, Frank? FizzPV says, I charge $1 a minute on installs at work. LOL. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do as well for with Fiverr. You know who also does that is Brandon's Baked Beans. If you want black box based tuning, Brandon's Baked Beans will do it for $1 a minute, which is a great deal. Denzel the Terrible says, if you like hoodies, get yourself a Matty Blunt's Space Bunny zip hoodie. Coolest bit of swag I own. Matty makes great art. Support our boy. Yeah, Matty's art is legendary. I don't typically do the hoodie thing, although I got that Quicksilver one, and Maggie was like, "Ooh, you look good in that." So if Maggie likes me in hoodies, I'll be getting some hoodies. God damn it! Craig says, "Yes, I would purchase a Micro King box." Okay, so at least one. Anybody else? Metal Dirtskin wood as well. All right, so I'll see if he can make me 5, because it doesn't look like there's a ton of you guys that are into it. I was more thinking like 10 or 20, but I'll see if he can do 5, and then we'll see what happens. Martin Tanley says, been out of the game for a few months. Any updates on lighter 04 Lite builds or recommendations while building on them? Something about glue. I remember you talking about. Cheers. Go back. It's too much to kind of rattle off, but just go back in my live streams and pick one of like the 04 streams where I'm doing like an 04 build, and I'll show you all that good stuff. Not a whole lot has changed, to be completely honest. I don't know if anything has changed from a couple months ago, but yeah. Craig says, how about a custom Micro King box for $20 unless the 3D print cost is high? It definitely won't be $20. The custom boxes from CustomFPV that I've already had him do were more than $20. Because he has to, set his 3D printer up specifically for this logo. But if I have him rattle off a whole bunch set up for Micro King Home with a Whooper, right, might be a little bit less. But we'll see. We'll keep talking about it. Mr. Wheezy's in the chat. He says, did you end up sending the 04 back for repairs? Not yet. I walked in the door, started to get unpacked, and started live streaming. So yeah, it's still sitting right here. It's a miracle that I even got it out of my bag. Islander FPV says, did you crash your whoop into any humans? I did not. TDog really nailed Jesse in the face after his win. Yeah, he did. I kind of felt bad for him. Yeah, he hit him really hard. Which I shouldn't be laughing at. I don't know. Everybody else seems to think the face punch thing is super funny, like Jesse included, it seems. I'm not one of those people. I don't want to get hit in the face by a tiny whoop because, like, I have this weird fear of getting hit in the eye and it, like, fucking up my eye, which is kind of a valid fear because, like, if you scratch the front bit of your eye, like, it's real bad. And so, like, I'm not into the face punch thing. I love smashing into people with tiny whoops, but it's always their butt. Like, I just, because, you'll never ever hurt them. And I just think it's funny for a tiny whoop to just slam into your butt at 40 miles an hour. And, like, plus, like, when you hit somebody in the butt, you can do it full throttle, right? Like, if you face punch somebody, you shouldn't be doing it full throttle. And then it's like, well, how fast should I be going? No, full throttle into the butt crack. That's the move. Let's come on, people. Kelvin says, does Matty Blunts smoke bad blunts? Did you smoke with him? New York City is 420 friendly. So Matty is actually out by Pittsburgh. He's not in New York City. I thought that he lived on the West Coast. I thought he was in California. But I think he said he's never lived in California. So I don't know. I guess I assumed that just because he's an artist that's, like, really good. And, like, all artists must live in California. EE says, hey, what are your thoughts on 45 versus 40 millimeter props? Got to buy some more propellers. And I'm going to need a new frame soon. What are your thoughts? The long and short of it is that, like, the 1.6 inch 40 millimeter props, the GemFan 1610 is amazing. When you go up to 45 millimeter props, there's not as amazing of an option. The Gem Fan 45 millimeter propellers, both the 2 and the 3 blades, for whatever reason, they're just not quite perfectly balanced. The HQ 45 millimeter props are really well balanced, but as with all of these HQ ultralight props, they're incredibly fragile. So it's nice if you're gonna do a 1S build, the 45 millimeter setup, it's okay. But the problem is there are no durable, good propeller options. And that, for me, that kind of sucks. But the flip side of that is that the HQ 45 millimeter prop is really good. And it flies really, really, really good. But a 75 millimeter rig, to me, should be 2S. And when you go up to 2S, there's no frame that's going to hold a 2S battery and 45 millimeter props. Also, with 2S, you get a bunch more power, and then those fragile props are getting stressed out even more. So for me, like, if you're going to go 2S, stick with 1.6 inch props and a Mobula 7 V3 frame. If you want something bigger than that, go all the way up to 2 inch. And like, you could also argue that 45 millimeter is just not needed in the same way that 35 millimeter is definitely not needed. And so, yeah, like 1.2 inch props, 1.6 inch, 2 inch. Let's just do that. Let's not go in between and make the prop manufacturers make a whole bunch more propellers, and then it flies this much different. Like from 65 to 75 to 85, they fly different each jump. And so the 65 millimeter rigs, you fly inside your house, and like in really tight little jungle gyms. The 75 millimeter rigs, you fly out in front of your house in the gardens and small spots. The 85 millimeter 2 inch prop rigs, you fly in bigger spots or when it's more windy, and it's awesome. And right now, someone out there is thinking, yeah, but what if I want something that'll do both? Well, here's the problem with that. The 35 millimeter prop and the 45 millimeter prop, they don't do either thing as good, and so it sucks because it doesn't do this thing as good and it doesn't do this thing as good. Tiny whoops are not that expensive. You're gonna build a bunch of them anyway, and so just build each size. You don't really need to build each size. You need to build a 65 for inside the house and a 75 for outside of the house if it's not super windy, or an 85 if it's super windy, and that's it. There's like going in between there is just obnoxious. So don't do it. But 1S with the 45 millimeter props does fly really good. The frame is really heavy though, which is annoying, but it does outperform the 40 millimeter prop. But don't fly it somewhere unrecoverable, because those HQ ultralights are gonna blow up. And then when a prop blows up, you can't fly it home because they blow up at the hub. They literally blow up and they disappear. And then you've only got 3 motors, which doesn't do you any good. Frank Nicholas says, your logo was on the background wall, bottom left and top right. Oh, yeah, right, my logo. Yep, it was on the top right and the bottom left. Yep, Cjo says, I have a new Flex. The first car James May reviewed on Top Gear was a Bentley T. Was it really? Awesome. S says, what's being made and sold? I think when you said that, we were talking about these awesome Whoop cases that CustomFPV makes. And I'm looking at having, I'm asking him if he can make one for a 2S 75 millimeter rig on one side and a 65 millimeter rig on the other side. And I want to have him do it with the Micro King Home of the Whooper logo on it, and then I think I'll do it in the in that really cool color scheme from this amazing case here. I think I'm gonna steal this yellow. It just looks so good with that, and then maybe a little bit of red, because it just looks so cool. can't wait to use this. Oh God, get over there. Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper is awake. What's up, dude? How are you? Ron Murray says I'd buy 2. Doubles FPV says, at Castle Grass, you smoked me in the side of the head with a whoop. Did I really? Sorry, I don't usually do that. That might have not been on purpose. I typically don't hit people in the head with whoops, but, you know, sometimes it's like, well, it's a whoop. Craig says, what's the weight of the 04 Lite camera and VTX? 20 or 30 grams? 04 Lite camera and VTX are 8 grams. Islander FPV says the Happy Model M80 45mm prop frame is available on Get FPV now. What is that? I don't know what that is. Happy Model M80? Let's see. M80. M80 frame for Mobula. Oh, okay. So that's the frame from the Mobula 704. That's pretty cool. I wish there was a way to make this frame take 2S batteries. Wait, no, this does. This does. That's right. Yeah, so the problem with this frame, so this is a 2S frame for 45mm props. The problem is you've now got an even heavier rig that you're going to put really fragile props on, and that scares me. So yeah, this is a great frame, though. Where was I? Yamasaur says, what's your preferred frame for 2-inch 85mm whoop? At the moment, I've been having really good luck with the HGLRC frame, actually. I'm sorry, the Happy Model frame. But earlier in the live stream, I was waving around. I found, I'd lost, but now I've found the HGLRC 2-inch frame, which people say is more durable than the Happy Model frame. But I've battered the shit out of that Mobula 804, basically, which is in the Happy Model frame, and the frame's holding up perfect. Oh, this sack of shit. Teddy. 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 Buddy, are you happy I'm home? I didn't fucking flinch. You don't care, do you, buddy? Teddy? Teddy? What a jerk. Sleeping with his toy, like, right in his face. All right. What else is happening in the chat? FizzPV says USPS screwed the package, making it for the stream. Oh, that's all right. Whenever it gets here, we'll go in there. We'll open it up. That's FizzPV sent me something super cool. CJO says, yeah, it was a Bentley T2, which was the second generation of the T series. My Bentley is a T1. Ah, cool. S says you mentioned making only 5, I believe. Yeah, but it looks like a couple more of you guys are interested. So I think maybe I'll see if I'm just gonna talk to them and just say, like, you know, what would 5 cost, what would 10 cost, whatever. Frank Nicholas says the yellow case red insert looks like Mario colors. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you're right. Maybe just yellow and black then. I'll figure it out. Doubles FPV says it wasn't on purpose, just a hazard of the whoop house. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, good. Benny Bravo says, is there a way to improve the connection between my VTX antenna and the board? I have a true RC Singularity that has gotten loose. Yes, I use Z6000, but the connection is met. Yeah, you can bend the... don't do it without magnification so you can see what you're doing. But the UFL on the antenna, the UFL is 3 brass pieces like this. And if you unplug and plug them enough, they'll open up a little bit. So you can go in there with needle nose pliers, And on the bottom, it's like these, and you just close them in, and then you pull that top one down, and it you know, the metal, you push the metal in, and then it'll snap on a lot harder. And yeah, but E6000 is really the answer. Yamasaur says the screws are weird with the HDLRC frame. I tried to switch over my Mobula 8 and it seems weird. Well, that's annoying. I'm gonna do it. I'll put it in there. I'll switch that rig over at some point, so we'll figure it out. Benny Bravo says I switched to Micro V and works great. Just didn't know if I could repair the other one for different situations. Yep, yeah, you can repair it. I've done a bunch of them. All right, I've got. Hold on a second. Derp 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 derp. Okay, cool. I'm glad that window wasn't scrolled down any further. Look at this. 16 years ago, I got called a hood rat. And then 15 years ago, I went on a trip up to a skate company called Bustin in New York for my birthday, and got one of their longboards, which was super fun. They're grip taping it all up. I still have it, I think. Bustin, it's their complex. No, I got rid of it. I sold it. That's right. 14 years ago, the 911 GT3 RS 4.0 came out, making 125 horsepower per liter, which was the highest I'd seen from NA. But then look at this, yo. 12 years ago is when me, my buddy Neil, and his brother, not engine swapped, but took out my stock engine for my Miata and put in the built engine that made 150 horsepower to the wheels, which in a 2,000-pound car is awesome. And so, yeah, I didn't realize that. That was, we did this in like 11 hours, all three of us. It was all day. We were shot by the end of it. But like, I basically didn't do anything because I cleaned stuff. I cleaned like everything. I cleaned the intake. I cleaned the engine bay. I painted the expansion tank black and put like a little stripe in the side so I could still see the water level. And yeah, like the engine bay had never been cleaned, so everything was disgusting. And since we had the engine out, it was a perfect chance to do it. But yeah, that was a lot of work. And then this built engine only lasted. This built engine was built by somebody who had told me that he's done over 100 engine builds, and in reality, this was his second engine build. So he just didn't do a great job, and it blew up after like 20,000 miles, I think, which was a big old shit sandwich. It blew up when I was moving. My old friend Brad was driving it, helping me move here to Atlanta. Actually, it blew up during the move. The crank actually broke. There it is in Atlantic City at Bader Field, back when it was all pretty and shiny. And then here it is in the mountains, Skyline Drive. That's all I wanted to show you. Pocket Picard, one to beam up. Proper absinthe with the weird melty thing. What is it, sugar? Does it melt sugar, I think? I don't know. Bagels? Thought that was interesting. Oh, yeah, right, no. And then 7 years ago, apparently I was out flying with Schizo and Kevin. Oh, and Tommy. Oh, wait, this was... Oh, yeah. So this was Quad Camp Knoxville. Right. This was the quad camp at Joshua Bardwell's house. This is when I met Ryan Harrell, and we became friends. That's right. Yeah. We went to a school and flew. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, did we go to the school and fly? Shit, I don't remember. We might have just flown at Joshua's house. But yeah, this was a super fun day. Hanging with Tommy and the fellas. There you go. There's a bit of my life. What do you think of that? I'm exhausted. I know it hasn't been our normal 2 hours, but if you guys don't have any super pressing questions, I'm gonna go get some goddamn rest so that I don't die. How's that sound? Would you rather me die? You would? All right, I'll fly 6 batteries. I'm not gonna fly 6 batteries. I don't think I have 6 batteries charged, but I at least have like 1 or 2 batteries charged, and I'll fly them. Because you're so mean, you wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me leave. You jerks. I actually forgot that I did want to fly because I do want to fly some of these batteries down. Twist my arm. I'll do the thing that's fun. I think these are like all charged too. Don't tell me what to do. Who do you think you are? You're not my mom. Oh. There we go. Don't tell me how to run my life. I forget what movie that was. That's one of my favorite quotes from whatever the hell movie that was, though. Fat Shark HD3s coming up. I forget why I took these antennas off, but let me just throw them back on real quick. Right, here we go. Here we go. Transmitter coming on. Let me see what I brought and didn't even fly once. I flew the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop the most on the 36,000s. But then I did fly one of these builds with a CO3. No, I didn't. I flew the Mobula 6 2024. That was the other rig that I flew. I didn't fly this one, so we're going to bounce this off the walls for a minute. And then we'll all go to sleep. So this is Newbie Drone Cockroach Lite AF frame. I should have flown this there. The Weebleed 40,000 kV motors. The nasty bi-blades 1.2 by 1.2 by 2. CO3, Beta FPV canopy, Micro V. And this is the Beta FPV Matrix AIO, I'm pretty sure. Balls. Hold on, let me unplug this and plug it back in. Hello, little dog. Are you ready to be insane? Yes, you are. You look like Benji right now, buddy. You don't look like a schnauzer. You just look like a ragamuffin mutt. What's going on with that? Is it because you won't let us brush your hair and then it gets matted and you have to get shaved down and you look terrible for months? Is that why? I think it is. You know why I think it is? Because I'm a person. And my brain's not the size of a peanut like yours. I have thumbs. I can speak. What if he barked when I said speak? We haven't taught him speak yet. Nor will we. The last thing I'm going to do is teach him to bark. What is that about? This battery is not charged. Here we go. This one will be. Ready? This is the one, for sure. Damn it. Hold on. When did I run these batteries down? Was it with the 04 maybe? I guess it was with the 04. Wow. Now these batteries are charged. That's kind of nice. I thought I was going to have to fly a whole bunch. Now I might only have to discharge a couple. What's this one at? Wow! Sorry, guys. I truly thought that I charged these all back up and didn't fly more than one or two of them back down. Well, I mean, I would have had to do this anyway. So I might as well do it while I'm hanging out with my friends. Hey! 40? Good lord! Angle mode is on. 40,000 kV. with super pitchy props. I should have flown this when I was there, yo. What am I doing with my life? Wow, look how much power it has. See how it bounced up? Oh, God! I was as patient as I could be. Oh, wow, it didn't go through the gate. Let's try it again. Nope, I missed it. Teddy, I can smell you from up here. What are you getting into that stinks like that? Why do you... What is the deal with you, my fuzzy friend? Why so smelly? Whoa! Look at that attitude. Whoa! Look at the attitude on this dog. Look at the attitude on this dog. Yeah. I've missed this. Let's build that fluff around. Oh! Oh my God! Went through those gates. That was cool. That was not planned at all. Ooh, he took a bite. He went for it on that one. Oh no! Don't. Nobody breathe. Nobody breathe. Yes. Oh God. Oh! Whoa! Whoa! Oh, buddy, you alright? He got it on that one. He doesn't care. Look at him. He's indestructible. Oh, shit. No! I fucking deserved that one. What? No. No way it fell down the top. And then, oh God, I hit myself in the arm. That's never happened before. It's never fallen down the top and then popped out in one of the cubes. Oh! Hit my head hard. Oh. Oh, come on! Yikes. Oh my God, yikes. Should I start racing? Oh, I hate racing! I don't hate it. It just frustrates me. It's just it's not fun for me. It's fun for lots of people, and those people are right. I am wrong about this. But that's okay. I'm allowed to be a fucking individual. I'm allowed to not like things. Hey, 3 minutes and 1 second. But some of that might have been farting around on the ground. Yeah, it was, because I was armed on the ground, just farting around with the dog. The darg. Farting around with the dog. I turned the OSD off. It's cooler looking with it off. I gotta turn it back on though to see what the voltage of this battery. Oh, another charged battery. Look at me go. This might be the last battery. Fly your 6 for today, friends, though. Come on. Get real. You. No. No! Yes. Hey. Ooh. I don't know what that hit, but it sounded expensive. Why is the video shit? Did the antenna pop off? The antenna popped off. Oh. Teddy, where's the antenna? Teddy, where's the antenna? That'll do it, friends. I'm gonna go find the antenna. I'll be back on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Join me. Go to CiottiFPV.com, click a bunch of buttons, join my Patreon. It's only a couple dollars. I'll save you more than that, I promise. Buy yourself something nice from my Etsy store. There's all kinds of good stuff on there. Do things. Thanks, friends. Those of you that I met at Tiny Loop Open, thanks for being so cool. Those of you that didn't go, go next time. Or to the next event that I'm at. Love you guys. Bye. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Oh, here's some of the flow arts stuff that I didn't play because I'm horrified by how bad I flew this. But here you go. Here's something that I didn't play during the live stream. What is happening here? Why are you spinning up one of the physical hard drives to access data on the non-spinny hard drive? I also underexposed this so bad. Whatever. Love you. Bye. Wait, this is the wrong screen. I gotta put this over here. See you guys Wednesday.